Hi guys, this is Lulu from Honey Art Cafe, and we are going to be painting Isabelle and a leaf coaster today. You want to start off by grabbing a pencil and then also a bowl of water to paint with. I'm going to center my face as best as I can on my coaster, and I want to start off with what's basically like a U shape. So I'm drawing a straight line and then I'm kind of bowing out from that like a closed parentheses and closing off that parentheses with this U-shaped curve. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a parentheses towards the bottom. I'm going to draw two ovals up at the top here. For the hair. And this is going to be her bangs. And then I'm going to draw a curve on the side that ends at the bottom of her head, basically. Same thing on this side. You do want to leave some space for yourself. So if you didn't have enough space here, you may want to shrink the whole head down just a little bit. And then at the very top, there's one circle for her big bun. And then there's a little curve for the side of her bun. Okay, and for the leaf shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what's basically like a heart shape, okay? So my heart shape is going to curve just a little bit towards the bottom, but it's essentially a heart shape. And I did have a little crack in this coaster, so this is the perfect part, perfect place to split my leaf, and I'm going to split it with this C shape. So I have a heart that's split on one side with a C shape, and then there's a little stem that gets slightly wider towards the top here. I'm going to set my pencil aside, and I want to take my paintbrush that came with your kit, and I'm gonna go for the light yellow first. And notice I'm not grabbing any water. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint at least 2 coats of paint for my face. So I'm painting in all of the hair and all of the face, and I'm not painting in the bottom shirt area, and I'm also not painting in the ears. Down below the face, I'm gonna go ahead and paint in a small U shape for the neck. Okay, and as I wait for that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and paint in the ears. I'll do the first layer for the ears. Go ahead and rinse off your brush. I'm gonna dry it on a napkin. And I'm gonna add in the first coat of paint for my ears. Okay, and then while that is drying, I'm gonna do the first layer of paint for the green. So again, I'm rinsing off my brush really well and drying it on a napkin. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my green color. So I'm using the green for the shirt for Isabelle. In order to not paint over what you've already painted over, you don't want to paint like this. You want to rotate your coaster so that the tip of your brush is facing the edge that you're painting against. And that way you can maintain a perfect U shape for the neck. Okay, and then we're going to be painting in the leaf next. So the trick to a good pointy stem is you want to just press as lightly as possible once you get down to this point right here. So you want your brush perpendicular to your coaster and rest your hand against the coaster and apply as little pressure as possible. And then when you're painting against the edge, you need to slow down a little bit, but when you're painting towards the middle of your coaster, you can go ahead and speed up. It's really important with acrylic painting that you don't take too long and you don't want to let the paint dry. At the very end of this, you're going to take a clear coat of gesso and apply it over the entire coaster. So again, you just want to rotate your coaster so the edge of the very tip of your paintbrush is pointed towards the edge that you're painting against. Okay, so our leaf is all done here, and just go ahead and take a look and see what needs a second coat. You may find that you have painted everything the first time around with a very thick coat of paint, in which case you don't need a second coat of paint, or you might find that you do need a second coat of paint. So I'm going to go in with my second coat of the dark yellow. And I'm actually going to go ahead and start at the top of the bun. So I'm going to draw a U shape that's going to take up about 2/3 of the bun, the top 2/3 of the bun. And then I'm just going to trace one edge, the left edge of the bun. And I'm also going to paint in the top 2/3 on the smaller bun. Then I'm going to paint over any places that need touch up on the ears. So I'm just applying my second coat here. You do want to make sure that before you apply your second coat that you see in the light if any of it's kind of shiny and it looks like the paint's not completely dry. Watch out for that wet paint and don't apply that second layer just yet. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse off my brush, completely dry it, and then I'm going to grab some of my white color and I'm gonna paint in a big old oval towards the bottom of my face. So this is gonna take up about 50% of the overall height of the head. Okay, so this is about halfway between the top of the hair here and then the bottom of the chin. And then anywhere you need to touch up with that light yellow, I'm just gonna go ahead. I've rinsed off my brush and I've dried it off. And anywhere you need to just touch up that second layer of paint, you want to go ahead and do so right now for the light yellow. Okay, so as I let that dry, I'm gonna go back and the edge of my leaf is already dried. Again, just double check. You can see some of it's kind of still this lighter green. It's kind of shiny when you wave it around in the light. Don't touch the light green parts that are still drying, but all of my edges are dry. So I'm gonna take a Sharpie and I'm just gonna go ahead and outline the leaf, and then I'm gonna start to outline Isabelle. Okay, and you do want to keep rotating your coaster so that your hand is just in a comfortable position. Okay, so our leaf is done. We're just gonna set that aside. And I'm gonna start to outline Isabelle. Okay, so I have her hair tie filled in right here. I have an oval for her first hair. This is her bangs right here. And again, you just want to watch out that the paint is dry, because if it's not, it may be really hard to ink. So if you even suspect that it could still be wet, you can just kind of stick to the very general outlines before you outline inside of the hair where the paint may still be wet. So mine was still kind of wet. Okay, so now that we have all of the outsides outlined, we're gonna go ahead and start to draw in the middle portion. I would advise you to pencil this in just in case first, but if you wanna go for it like I am going to, just keep in mind that you can always paint over this in case you mess up. So near the top of our white oval, you're gonna go ahead and draw in an oval shape and fill it in. Okay, so I have my oval drawn in, and then near the middle of the mouth, I'm gonna go ahead and start to draw in a V shape. So I wanna pinpoint where the bottom of my V is gonna be, so just centered on that nose, and then I'm gonna pinpoint where the edges of the top edges of the V are gonna be, and I just kind of dot that in very lightly, and then I just connect the dots. Then I thicken my line, and this is pretty much like a foolproof way of doing it. If you mess up when you're dotting it, you can kind of get a good visual. Then you can always scoot the dots and paint over the dots really very easily. And then right above the V's, I'm gonna go ahead and draw in ovals for the eyes. So this is right above the tops of the V's. And I always draw my eyes a little bit smaller than I intend to make them, just so that I have room to expand and adjust the eyes so that they are pretty centered. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add in a little dot of white for the highlights of the eyes. So both on the right side. And that is it for our coaster set, and thank you guys so much for ordering our Animal Crossing cookie boxes, and we'll see you next time for another fun and informative art lesson. Thank you. Bye.